I just did something that I did not think was possible at first, but I just completed the Deathly Dell level 1 in solo, all by myself, no help, none at all. Do you guys want to be able to do this? I'm going to show you the deck that you need to take in and give you all the little tips and tricks to get you all the way through to the end and get those sweet, sweet rewards every time you hop in. The deck that I used, right here guys, super easy to use, pretty much a free-to-play deck. The Thunder is the only one that's a legendary, and that can be changed out for any other DPS pretty much, your Crucios and Fire Fiends easily. Also, I wasn't that lucky when I went through the dungeon. I did not get really good boosts as I was going up. I did get Aguamente all the way to the top, which meant that I got really, really high DPS, but none of my controls went up. I would have loved a second DPS to go up as well, just to add that bit of damage and get through the levels a bit faster, but didn't happen. Still made it though. My book level is 52, which is probably a little bit higher than a fair bit of you guys watching this, but it can be done with a book level lower. I did see someone complete it by themselves at book level 36. It just takes a little bit more strategy, I guess. I was very close to dying a lot of times, but you can get past this. But we'll get onto the cards now, and I'll tell you a little bit about why I chose these cards. As you can see, the bottom one here is the 0, which gives you the last spell that you used, again, but with 1 extra mana. This is, I feel, pretty crucial for that DPS. You can smash off a Aguamente, and pretty much by the time it finishes shooting, you're nearly ready to summon it again and go again and just absolutely punish the opposition. This can be on your Crucio or Fiendfire, anything else. I would rather Aguamente or Crucio, to be honest, just because Fiendfire can get destroyed in the level 20, which we'll get to a little video on how to best navigate level 20 in that dungeon. The next one here is Inflatus. This could also be Stupefy or Incarcerus, any control. Pretty much any control. I only chose Inflatus because as I went through the run, I did get 2 upgrades with this, which helped just a little bit. I had a bit more control, just bounced 2 more times or something. The next one is the healing. I would take any type of healing. Whichever one is your favorite, I would put that in there. Even you could probably even take 2 if you wanted, and I'll tell you which one I'd drop out if you were to do so. Next one on is the Ventus, and it is probably one of my most stable in all of my Forbidden Forest runs. I take it in. You can just drop it down and then stand at the end of the wind and heal yourself up, and no one will come and get you. It is an amazing thing to just control the enemies, heal yourself, and then you can even cast your Aguamente and take out a lot of damage off the opponents. Next one is the Venom. It also slows down the opponent, plus it does a lot of damage. If you're against a boss that doesn't move very much, lay that down and you'll just see the damage stacks tick up. If it is a boss that moves, all you got to do is kind of just anticipate which way it's running and put it in front of it. It'll get stuck in that acid and really take some damage off. So the next one here is Sectum Sempra. I don't know, to be honest, I have no idea how to say that, but it is that card right there. I literally only brought this in because it hits multiple enemies at a time. You could switch this one out for a Crucio or any other DPS, or it could be another heal if you wanted 2 heals to come in here. It doesn't really do that much damage, so I only picked it because it was low and it hits multiple enemies at a time, but this one can definitely be switched out for whatever you want. Aguamente, as I talked about before, this was my high DPS. I was lucky this was the boost that I did get consistently, and I had it up to the legendary level pretty fast, so it absolutely ruins the bosses. It melts them. Next I had was Thunder because it come up as my boost, and I picked that one. I would have rathered Crucio. I do really love Crucio for the bosses because you can just aim and again it melts the bosses and you can move around and not get hit. Next we'll touch on is the Echoes. I go with Dobby just because I feel like you need to dodge a lot within these dungeons in the Forbidden Forest, and he is the best at it, hands down. I know you don't get any buffs anywhere else, but healing is something you need to do consistently within here, and the less you get hit, the less you need to heal. You could also go with a Hermione build where your spells can cost less MP, meaning you get these spells off more consistently, i.e. hitting Aguamente a lot more often, which is very useful as well, but you just need to be able to dodge. I think this would be a little bit, after you do this a little bit more and you get a bit more experience, you can probably aim to switching to Hermione, which may speed this up a little bit. Companions down the bottom, whatever you want. Seriously, it does not matter. I use Hermione because, again, I can get off a double spell at the same time. Lottie, you get your MP regen quicker, and then Daniel heals me. But the only one that I will stress really hard, when you get to level 20, which I will talk about when you get there anyway, you have to have Ivy. Ivy is hands down the best companion for level 20. Hands down. So that is everything for the deck. We're going to go in and I'll show you a few tips before you go into the run, because there's a few things you need to do before you even start this run. So I've done this run and recorded it just before, just to make sure I got through, because I did do this one earlier and I failed, and I wondered why I failed. The first time I bring some NPCs in with me just because I like bringing them in and they just get hit. They're the ones that take all the focus, so you can do whatever you want without really getting attacked by the enemies, and then you can just revive them and whatever. But then I got this comment on my channel today from It's Via 397. Thank you for giving me this comment. But if you have a look down the bottom here, if you go into the Forbidden Forest alone with no NPCs, the enemy's health is lower. This makes no sense at all. Very unintuitive, as they said, that going alone can be easier when it's supposed to be a team exploration. So it makes it easier in the sense that the enemies have less health, but it means that they are really only going to be focusing in on you. And because of this deck that I took in, we do not have many summons that come out. So we need to really lean on Ventus and Inflatus and any control to really control as many enemies at the same time, okay? I'm going to go in, I'm going to show you what boosts I ended up with, and a little quick guide on how to defeat each boss, because I do have it on record right here. But if you do want to know a bit more about how I beat each boss and what strategies I use, let me know in the comments, and I can probably do a more specific video on each boss, because some of them are very hard. I'm probably going to more focus on just the level 21, because that is very hard to do by yourself. So another thing to take into account, when I did go through, I did pick the hardest battle in every one so I could get the best chance at good boosts. This did help a lot by the end, but it did make the middle section of this run very hard. I did get very, very close to little health. I did not die at all, which I'm very, very surprised about. And I used the fire once. I did not use any potions. Make sure you go in there with potions and whatever else you need to do to get through, because getting through to the last boss is very hard. The last boss is hard as well, but you still need to make it through to the last boss, and you want to do the hardest ones you possibly can so you can get the best upgrades as possible. So this is what got thrown at me straight off the bat. I love Stupefy and I love the Venom, but I had to go with Agramente. I had to take that DPS because, as you see as we go on, the amount that absolutely shatters off the opponents is phenomenal. Alright, you'll see here against the first enemy, you'll see how little health they have and how quickly you can absolutely melt them. Crucio will kill the Basilisk in one go. It only has 2,000 health. Done and dusted. This is why you don't take NPCs with you guys, okay? No NPCs. First big boss off the bat is this Dark Wizard. Loves to summon. Summons a troll straight off the bat, then spiders. Luckily, we do get a Senator that comes and helps us to the right-hand side very soon, so he kind of takes some of the heat. But this, if you do want to bring a summon in and you can get rid of Septon's Mesa or whatever the hell that card is, you can get rid of that and bring in a summon just to take a little bit of heat off you. Maybe one of the bigger ones like a troll or something that's going to take a little bit more damage to kill. But all you need to do, as we can see here, is do things where you can lay down and then you can move out of the way. Because, as you see, the Dark Wizard is going to continually do Avada Kedavra, or however that's pronounced. And it takes about 400 health off every time. You cannot get hit by this too much. 526 that time. It keeps getting stronger. So make sure you're in the dodge mechanic, and that's why I do love going with Dobby, just to reinforce that point again. Another one here that will just show you how good Ventus is. Look at this. I pretty much hit them all, and I can stand away, and I only get hit minimally, and I can summon my Hermione, use Agramente, she uses it as well, and I just melt the opponents for a really good amount. Drop down one of the Venoms, and then you just walk around the map. She dropped another one which worked out perfectly, but as you can see, watch this, I'll walk around the map and go back through my Venom, so then all of these guys walk through the Venom again and just get stuck and get hit again. So it's all about placement, strategy, and moving the enemies around where you want them to go. You need to manipulate them in the right way. Again, Ventus, stay away from me, boys. So the next boss we got is the Yeti. I don't feel like he is a very hard boss at all. You just need to really keep your distance, not like I done just here. I let him come in close to me, but keep your distance and just avoid the snowballs. It's not really that hard, to be honest. And you've seen then, look how hard Agramente hit. It just took half of his health off in one attack. That is super OP. The other thing I'd suggest, as I did just then, lay down Venoms and use this as a chance to heal, but make sure you get out of the way of those snowballs. They're hitting for 200 and 400 at a time. Ventus does not work against him, so I'd advise against that. And Stoop to Fire, do not think controls him either. So just stick to hitting him with Aguamentes like this. Bang, there's another 8,000 straight off his health. So as I've talked about before in a previous video, which I'll link up above, about the Forbidden Forest tips, this is what I would purchase when I find this shop. 2 at the top, my 2 DPSs that I definitely will buy. 2 levels up on those is enormous. And then down the bottom, attack by 15% and health by 15%. I definitely buy every time I go into here, because that just helps you so much. Have a look across the middle row. If there's any there that you really like, then take that as well. So if you do come across this level, look how hard that Aguamente just hit. I probably should have moved across and nearly killed one of the others as well. But this is a really good level to heal. I place Daniel down so he starts healing. And then I place a heal down so I heal Daniel whilst he's healing me as well. This was a really, really amazing level for me, because I kept him alive for ages, kept myself alive, and I was healing quicker than they done damage on me. I probably should have sat here until I was full health. And that is something that you really need to think about as well. When you're playing, as I've talked about before, use basic attacks when you get to the end, so the next level you have full mana when you start. If you have a chance to heal, heal at the end. Get full health before you finish a level. Just little things like that will help you finish the game even easier. So probably the most annoying boss in this whole run is the Demiguise. I know a lot of you are struggling with him and not really understanding how it works, but as you can see, he drops those lightning down. Look where I've gone. I've gone outside those circles where I am not going to get hit. Do not worry about attacking the lightning. That will not work at all, okay? So that first one is easy to miss. You just go into up to your right or to your left, get out of the way, and you can control the Demi really easily. The wind blows him away, the Inflatus pulls him up, Stoop to Fire hits him back, so he can be controlled very easily. This one is a little bit harder, but guys, see where I landed? You can just get out of the way, and I'd suggest you go there because that's the best, and then you can Ventus him away or do something just to control him while your mana goes up and you're ready for another Aguamente here that I absolutely melt him. And it's pretty much done and dusted. So that is the best way that I can tell you to beat this guy. The longer that you stay in this battle, the harder it is for yourself, because those lightning become harder and harder to avoid. And as you can see, my Thunderstorm, I got all the way up. My Aguamente is all the way up. Thunderstorm didn't really help when I got to the end, but it is a bit of DPS. So I was lucky and got another one of these inventories where I bought the Aguamente and the Thunder again. I bought the attack and I bought the health again. So I was really pumped up as high as I possibly could. +4 on Aguamente and Thunderstorm. This is why they hit so bloody hard. So here we are at the final boss. And what did I tell you at the start of the video? Make sure you put Ivy in as your companion. Do it right now. She needs to be in slot 1. You need her in slot 1, guys. Slot 1. She's going to take out one of the knights straight away. One of the enemies will be straight off the battlefield, gone. And this is very imperative you do this, and it will help the whole battle. So when she is in slot 1, this is what you do. As soon as you start the battle, you get pretty much hit right away. You're confused, and he summons his knights straight onto you. Head up to the right towards the bigger white knight. Get yourself away enough that you're ready to summon. Summon Ivy. I missed it that first time, but summon Ivy right next to the white knight. She will get rid of him instantly. Boom. Gone. You only have 2 more to defeat. Hit them with the Aguamente. I've nearly killed one of them, and the other one I took a quarter off. And this is where Dobby comes into play. Avoid those other moving chess pieces. Keep them at a distance with your Ventus and with your Venoms. Keep them as far away as possible. Just stay in a corner. If they do get too close, then head to another corner and continually do the same thing. As you can see, I knocked out the second one very fast as well. This one has a lot more health, so it's obviously going to take a bit more damage. As you can see, I've hit the Venom, and it's just clocking out. It's just taking time. But that was within 30 seconds, I had killed 2 of the knights. I absolutely played this very bad from now onwards, and it took me another minute to kill this one, so I might just skip forward to that. So as you can see, we're at just under a minute 30 gone, or minute 30 remaining. He's very, very close to death, but when there's a minute 25 to go, for some reason I tried to attack the guy that you don't even try and have to try and kill. But he summons 2 more, but you do not need to kill these 2 to finish the level. You only need to kill that first original one that he summoned. There you have it, guys. Deathly Dell soloed by myself in 22 minutes. If you want to have a more in-depth look at any of those bosses, let me know in the comments, and I'll probably do a full strategic guide on those bosses one by one. Let me know, because this video is long enough. I will see you in a video soon.